Hello everyone and welcome back to Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, another bite-sized adventure from Tamriel, and mostly just done because I painted up a large miniature I wanted to include in one of these little videos. Thought up a little scenario to do, so keeping up with that trend where we're not going to be following all the rules for playing Delve mode because it is a self-contained little story thing that we're doing today, and I'll talk more about that in a second. These videos are available first to channel members as a thank you for the extra support people are able to spare, so if you can do that, please do consider it. You get access to this and other videos early, as well as a little thing next to your name and some other perks. Anyway, with that said, let's take a look at what's happening today and who we're going to be using. So as I say, it's a bit of a smaller match, roughly just over 100 septims after you add in gear, etc. So there's only one hero who is also having to be the champion in the side we're playing as today, and I think it's the first time I've had the Stormcloaks on the channel. So we're going to be having Ralof, the Warrior of the Resistance, as our champion slash only hero. And if you aren't familiar with him, if you side with the Stormcloaks in the opening to Skyrim, he's the guy who kind of guides you. Then as you follow the story, he kind of just... You meet him a few times when you're taking forts and stuff for the Stormcloaks if you side with them. If you side with the Imperials, you don't really see him again. So he's going to be equipped with a longbow, with glass arrows, some standard Stormcloak armour, the Stormcloak cuirass, I'm never sure how to pronounce that word. Just gives you yellow defense and another yellow if you get a helmet. Not super great, it's light armor. And a health potion in case he needs it. And he is bringing along his squad. The times you do meet him when he's taking or helping you take a fort in Skyrim, he usually has like 3 people with him to help you out as you initiate the fight. So we're replicating that here with 3 Stormcloak soldiers, all armed with greatswords. The 4 followers are actually pretty tanky. They have 3 health each, and they have a reasonably good chance to hit on a 4. So that's who we're going to be using today. As I say, roughly it's just over 100 septims in total. He's 36, they're 20 each, so that's 66. Then add on the gear here and it takes you to just over 100, I think it was. So, now on to the adversaries. So I've done my best with the scenery I have to kind of create a cave or a cavernous like a map for us to play in today. The interior here is the only area that we're going to be moving around in, and it is filled with spiders. It is filled with 3 frostbite spiders and the big model I was talking about, the giant frostbite spider over there in the corner there. Sadly can't replicate in Skyrim how you know you're always going to be fighting, or when you're going to be fighting a giant spider, because there's a utterly unexplainable giant cylindrical shaft in the middle of a room filled with webs, purely so when you walk in the giant spider can drop down rather than being able to attack it from a distance. It looks silly in modern terms, but anyway. You'll also notice there is 1 civilian token here. The setup for this little storyline is Ralof and the soldiers under his command for the Stormcloaks are tasked with trying to rescue a civilian that got dragged off by the spiders. So we'll cover the specifics of what's going to count as a minor win or a major win after this quick word from my channel sponsors. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So what are the rules for today? The people I'm playing as are starting right here at the entrance of the cave. Their goal is to get to the civilian token, which I just showed you is on the far right. I think you can just about make it out there right now. To get there, pass a strength test check, which we'll use up an action. That is freeing the trapped civilian from the web that has trapped him, and he is then considered to have been rescued. That will at least get a minor victory. Major victory is if all the spiders are, if the large spider is dead, or if they all manage to get out alive, whoever survives, that is. The little spiders are going to be respawning. The big spider is not. It's classed as a master, so they don't respawn normally. And in terms of the spiders respawning, we're going to do what we did last time, where we will be drawing an event card at the end of the turn, ignoring all the text on it, and just going by the number of respawns. So I'm not going to be drawing the bottom card, so for instance, that would respawn 2 spiders, assuming 2 of them had been killed. And the little frostbite spiders only have 1 health. So they should, in theory, as long as nothing whiffs every single time they try and attack, be not too difficult to remove. So they're just going to keep on flooding in. The giant frostbite spider is a little tougher. As I say, it's a master, so it might not necessarily die the first time it gets to 0 health. It hits pretty hard and has 3 health. But it's more scary in terms of how much damage it can do rather than how sturdy it is. So in theory, should not be too difficult for Ralof and his soldiers. But I guess we'll see as we get started. Because of the Septum limit being played, I believe there's only 2 set activations for the adversaries, barring any reactions for me ending within distance of them. I'll double check that as we go into turn 1. Oh, and turn limit, we're going for 5 turns at most. So as turn 1 begins, it is 2 guaranteed adversary activations. The precise septums I double checked, 124. So anything between 100 and 199 is 2 adversaries activations. Anyway, I went with Ralof to get started. He just did a standard move of 6 inches. The 1 stamina he has spent there is to do an aimed shot, and he is shooting the longbow. He is just inside short range of the spider there. Short range for the longbow is 8 inches, which is just a single red die. However, the stamina is an aim shot, so he's throwing in that green, and he has a good chance to hit with a bow, I guess. It's a 4, it's kind of his thing. I'm not using the glass arrows, they're optional to use. I'm saving those for the big spider. Let's see how he does. That's a hit, definitely. It's only 1 damage. Does the Oblivion Gate do anything extra? It does not, so the spider can absolutely defend that, assuming it has armor. Let's check. It does. If this blanks out, he's dead, otherwise he lives. He lives. It didn't matter if the helmet did anything, because that protects against him. That's not a great start. The bad luck continues for Ralof because it randomly selected an adversary to activate. This is not a reaction activation because he was outside of 6. He was just within 8. But it was the closest spider he took that shot at and missed. Well, didn't miss, it just blocked it. And they're all beasts, so they have fleet, so their standard move is 9 inches, not 6. And that was more than enough to get into base to base. And then he's going to try and nibble on Ralof. So standard Frostbite Spider Bite is 2 yellow and a green. They're only hitting on a 3. But if they get a helmet, it's poison. And it's a crit fail. Right there. Okay, good. Crit fail, absolutely nothing. Ralof does not have a close combat option besides his fists though, so he is going to need to get helped out now. So with that in mind, I activated the first of the 3 Stormcloak soldiers, moved 6 inches into combat, and he's going to take a swing at the spider. They're kind of all or nothing because they just roll a single black die for their attack with that greatsword. They can add a green if they get a helmet. I'm adding a green here because of the outnumber bonus against the spider. Ralof may not have a melee weapon, but he's still helping outnumber them. And they actually hit on 4s. Like, I'm really surprised. The bog standard Stormcloak soldiers are better than the Imperial ones, in my opinion. So, watch him crit fail now that I've said that. Nope, that is a 4 that comes down to a 3. Is a hit for 2 plus the Oblivion Gate. The Oblivion Gate does nothing in this instance. It is possible for him to live. There's a 2 on this yellow. World's most invulnerable spider unfortunately lives to laugh another day. Second of the 2 activations that the adversaries are guaranteed to get was the other closest Frostbite Spider. Walked around and is just charging forwards. I haven't been including the giant Frostbite Spider in the randomization of who activates, incidentally. That will only happen once they're at least halfway towards him, because right now Ralof could just technically in theory take pot shots at him, so I don't want it to die super easy. So it's staying hidden until it senses the threat. Although they've not been much of a threat so far because of whiffing, or just because that spider's excellent at defense rolls. Let's see if he can do it a 3rd time. So the second Stormcloak with a greatsword activated had to use a point of stamina. They have 2 in order to do a sprint to get round his teammates to actually get into base to base with the enemy, unfortunately. So he's not going to do a power attack or anything. He's just getting that black die plus a green for outnumbered bonus. And this time, when he lands this hit, the spider is not going to fully defend it. Never mind, he's just going to miss. That's a 10 that comes down to a 9. And that's not going to help with the double swords, is it? It would be... Oh, it's follow-up, actually. It is, it's follow-up, so he's going to get another chance to swing. Now, I believe it's at a negative. I've forgotten how follow-up works precisely beyond the Dark Brotherhood guy who has it. So let me quickly check. This is not an easy to use reference at the back of the instruction manual. Follow-up. It's here somewhere. There it is. When a melee attack with this keyword is resolved, the attacker may immediately perform another attack of the same type against an enemy in base contact. A follow-up uses all the normal melee rolls. It's considered part of the same action. A follow-up using a primary weapon while dual wielding does not prevent the use of a secondary weapon, so it's just another swing. Okay, Robin gets another shot, aka. Let's try again. That is a crit fail, which would have been 3 damage, which the spider would not have been able to protect against. They did not send their best men this day. The final Stormcloak soldier with the great sword, I'm having just go past the immortal spider that can't die. Used up 1 point of stamina in order to just sprint, so 9 inches got him there. Not within range to attack the other spider there, so he threw up a 2-handed block as his other action, just to try and protect him in the next round. On that note, there is no reaction activations from the adversaries for me stopping within 6 of them. They've had their 2 for the turn, and that means we can go straight to the end of the round. However, none of them died, so there's no need to draw an event card for what we're using the event cards for, at least in this little scenario. So we can in fact just do a little bit of table cleanup and go straight on to round 2, where hopefully something that isn't human will get murdered. So we are straight into round 2, and I can't go with Rayloff first because I need this spider who's in base to base with the die. So I'm activating this Stormcloak soldier, who would then replenish that 1 stamina. He's getting a green die from the outnumber bonus anyway, so I'm just going to take that and hope that it's good enough. On 4s. That is a critical success, and he could heal a point of health or stamina. I don't think, oh, it already doesn't matter, but hey. Alright, so there's a casual 5 damage. The spider has fallen. Actually, this might be the most opportune moment for that to have happened, because it's missed the opportunity to immediately come back, because it's very, I don't even know if any of the event cards have 0 respawns on them. I think it's a minimum of 1. So maybe that's a blessing in disguise. And he did that in 1 action, so for his other action, I will move him up 6, so he's going to be around about there. That is going to mean that the giant spider is going to potentially activate now if he goes that high up, but I'm okay with that. Now what I didn't consider is after he activates, that's going to trigger a reaction activation from this spider. Now he's got his choice of targets, so I figured let's roll for his AI on camera and see what he does. These spiders actually do have a ranged option, which I kind of forgot about. Let's see, so that's just 3 damage pips. So he just wants to attack, and they prioritize nearest. I would say he is nearest, just barely. Then it would be wounded, and then slowest is how they do it. So he could technically just spit. Oh, I just realised I rolled for their ranged attack when I did the melee attack. Well, I didn't do any damage anyway. Their melee attack is green plus red. Their spit is green, yellow, yellow. So let's have him do that spit right now, since I had the dice looked out for it already, accidentally. Both attacks have the potentiality to do poison, so it's not like I'm trying to make it easier on myself or anything. So, plus he's in the spitting animation, so let's do it. On the spit, same, oh, he actually has a better chance to hit, so I probably should have done a spit in turn 1 as well. It's on a 4, and that's a 2 that comes down to a -1, so he definitely hit, 1 damage. The helmet is poison, so he is poisoned. It's only a single point of damage, and these Stormcloak soldiers have a single yellow die for defense, so it is possible. He fully blocks, but I believe the poison still goes through. I'm going to have to double check if it still goes through if you take no damage. Yep, as far as I can tell, the poison still goes through, so that's going to be 1 damage when he next activates. And the spider still has another activation, and he is still closest and now weakest, so it, for its other action, is just going to get into base to base with him. And that doesn't count towards their activations for the round. For the greater good, I'm activating Rayloff next, and he's kind of ignoring what happened to his fellow soldier there just to try and pick off the spider that's going to approach. So he is going to be aiming at the frostbite spider, just the bog standard one right there, and once again he is using up 1 stamina to do an aimed shot, but I'm not using the glass arrows. So, can he do this on a 4? That's a 7 that comes down by a 3, so it is a hit. It's only 1 damage again, and again the Oblivion token does nothing. So the spider will live unless it rolls a blank. Nope, that spider is tanky. He stopped just within 8 to get the short range, but outside of 6. So no reaction activation, but it's a 50-50 chance it's about to activate anyway. Well, it was a 50-50 chance, and the big spider is now active. It came down from that cylindrical hole in the ceiling and has moved out. Didn't move the full 9 inches, just moved enough to put Rayloff within 6. So you can spit at him, and his spit is, as you might expect, slightly more dangerous. It's a green plus a red, 6-inch range, potentiality to do slow, and also poison, and hits on 4s. So, pull back, dice tray on 4s. That's a 10 that comes down to a 7, so he actually did manage to miss. Ralof saw it coming and ducked out of the way, I guess. So next I'm going to activate the engaged Stormcloak soldier. I just realised it's facing the wrong way. There we go. Poison does 1 damage, and then he is just going to swing, and I'm not going to use stamina. I think I'm just going to... Well, no, I really should. He needs to land this hit. I'll do a... adding green rather than try and do more damage. Although, honestly, the landing the hits hasn't been the problem. It's been the defense, but surely this time it'll be okay. 4 on the dot, came down to a 2. He did 2 damage. It is possible for the spider to live. And it did. The spider survived. That's annoying, because that means I'm now going to need to use that soldier to try and help him out. After the other normal size frostbite spider activates though. And on the subject of that spider, it's Path of Shadow, so I actually got fall back for its AI matrix roll. So I decided to interpret that as he's trying to keep his distance, but he stayed within 6 inches of Ralof so he can fire some poison at him. So that's what's happening here, and 4 is once again the magic number. And that is unfortunately a crit. So this is bad. So that is 4 damage coming in, no poison though, against Ralof, who gets his 1 and potentially 2 dice. He took 4 damage. That's enough to take him out. Well, not take him out. He goes down on 1 knee because he's a hero. But that is catastrophic. So there is the incapacity token. Any form of damage would remove Ralof from the table and everything hits automatically. Which unfortunately means that my final activation, and it is the final action of round 2, is that the soldier who is going to just lose his block, he restores that. He's not going to be able to help out this soldier. He needs to get into base to base with Ralof and do an aid action where if he is incapacitated, you flip it and he becomes, is that staggered? I always forget how many stars it counts as. Whichever one is worse. Let's see, the aid action, staggered, yep, which is slightly better. That he's not 1 hit away from death. I believe he heals 1 off of that, although it doesn't specifically say that. But I guess you technically have 1 health left. When you're a hero, you don't actually literally take all your health. So Ralof is at 3 damage technically. And is still in grave danger. I'm probably going to have to activate him first next round, just so he can use that health potion I gave him. So that is the end of round 2. There is 1 dead spider. It is almost certainly coming back, because I'm pretty sure none of these event cards say 0 respawns. But just for the purposes of showing... Yep. And again, we're ignoring all these just for the purposes of these little mini adventures. So that 1 spider that died is coming back, and it is appearing as far away as possible, which means it is appearing right here at the cave entrance, and is now a new threat to deal with as we go into round 3. I can feel it as we begin round 3. This is Ralof's hero moment. He is staggered, so he can't do any forms of boost or anything like that. It would give anyone attacking him a -2 modifier, so he's easier to hit. He is going to use his minor healing potion, which unfortunately is just you roll a yellow die and heal that much, but hey, I'm hoping for 2. 1. Well, that's a start. So that puts him at half health. The stagger token goes away at the end of this activation of his, and I'm just going to take a pot shot at the big spider because he is the best chance to do damage to it. Can't boost it, as I said, but we are going to use the glass arrows. So we are at short range because it's within 8, so he's getting a red die by default, and the glass arrows are adding another red die. So as long as he lands the hit, it should, in theory, be a powerful hit. So, this is your hero moment. You've done not too great thus far. Here we go. I see. Well, he did just get, like, poisoned, or not, no, he don't get poisoned, but he got shot at and everything else. So, a crit fail, I guess, is, well, a crit fail is a crit fail. The helmet, the Oblivion Gate, for the record, would not have done anything. And also, at the end of his activation, has he ran out of glass arrows? Did he only bring 1? Close. Why didn't you roll that for the attack? That would have been an insta-kill. The stagger goes away, but he's essentially done nothing. And the spider behind him is definitely activating, but is the other spider... oh no. I think all of them can do reactionary activations. That's not good. Well, this is where the pain begins. So, reactionary activation from this spider. He is going to just do a melee attack into this Stormcloak soldier, hitting on 3s with his poisonous bite. That is a 6 that comes down to a 4, so thankfully it's a miss, and he isn't allowed to do the same action twice. So, oh, actually he would have boosted that. So 6 came down, he would have tried to boost. Actually no, they power attack. They don't try and boost attack, so it doesn't matter. So it was a miss, and he can't do anything else with his other action. The spider up here is going to shoot from where he is at this Stormcloak soldier, so that's green, yellow, yellow, hitting on a slightly better 4. Then back down here to the dice tray, and that does hit. Does the helmet do anything for this spider? It's the poison. Yep, that's the poison. So he's poisoned for 2 damage, and he gets 1 yellow die as defense. Oh, that means he gets to roll another one? No, it does not. He blocks 1, so he's taken 1 damage and is poisoned. So I was just double checking there if the number of reaction activations adversaries can do can exceed the number of normal activations that are allowed within a turn. I couldn't find anything definitive, but I presume yes, which means Big Spider is activating and is going to spit. Now the soldier that came to Raelof's aid is actually slightly closer now, so he is the target, and that's bad for him because he's poisoned and has already taken 1 damage, so 1 more damage means he's already dead. And that's a crit from the Big Spider, so yeah, it's not looking great. That's 4 damage. Yeah, he's done. There's no point rolling defense on that because it mostly can block 2. So that soldier that came to Raelof's aid, that was your mistake. Blip! Just gets a face full of venom, and now his face is gone. So that was all reaction activations. There's only one enemy left that hasn't activated. It's the spider that respawned, and he's now getting their normal activation. But hey, then my 2 surviving soldiers will get to do something at least. So the spider at the door has moved well within his 9 inches into combat there, since he can't spit into combat with one of his allies involved, and is just going to take a swing. 2 green dice, whoops, because of outnumber bonus against the Stormcloak soldier, and on 3s. That is a 6 that comes down by 3, 2 of 3, so that is 2 damage, nothing extra. He can defend against it, and he must do at least a little. He blanked out, which is 2 damage, and he had 1 damage already, so split. Not looking great for the Stormcloak soldiers, not looking great at all. Raelof couldn't do anything, the other soldiers are dead. All I'm left with is the final Stormcloak soldier with the greatsword, and he's going to try and have a hero moment. He's using up all his stamina, one to do a sprint to get into base to base with the big enemy spider, and the other to do a power strike. So along with his bog standard black die, he's throwing in a yellow. So I'm hoping he lands the hit, and that the hit is really powerful. Will it be? On 4s! He missed by 1, and it would have been 3 damage. You've failed me, and that is the end of turn 3. At the end of round 3, there is no off the table dead spiders from the amount they started with, so there's no need to draw an event card. We can just go straight into round 4, which is looking like it's going to be the last turn, with my party getting wiped. So I activated Raelof. I had him spend 1 stamina to do a sprint right up there. If he can live this turn, he might at least be able to save the civilians so we get a minor victory. He is going to trigger 2 reaction activations, assuming they both live. Giant Spider is definitely living, but I'm hoping he will at least kill this little spider, and that might make him safe for the round. So he's going to shoot into the back of that spider. He's using another stamina point to do a precision shot for an extra green die, and I'm using the glass arrows for an extra red die, because he's obviously in short range. So it's a lot of damage. I can't shoot the big spider because he's engaged with a friendly. That red die fell out, and it was a crit fail. With a potion though, so that means I get to heal. So he's going to have only 1 damage on him, but land a shot with Raelof, challenge level impossible. So now both those spiders are going to activate. Let's do the nasty one first. Big spider. I'm not going to bother putting the dice tray there because it's awkward to fit in. Power striking, and on 4s. That is a 5 that comes down to a 4, so that is 3 damage. Does the helmet do anything? Slow, I don't think that's going to matter. And his defense, he is capable of living as long as he blocks at least 1. He blocked 1, took 2 damage, and that means he's still alive, so the spider has to stay engaged with him. So that's something. So the general rule, I guess, if you're not sure what to do, is the enemy will do what is worst for you. That spider rolled for him. Oh yeah, and also, just put that there, show he's activated. Rolled for Path of Shadow, got the damage pips again, which just means he wants to attack. Ralof is closest, so obviously he could just ranged attack him. But the worst case, actually, yeah, I just thought the worst case scenario is spit at him first, then lock him in combat. So yes, never mind. There is in fact a worse process to do than I was going to do. So that's yellow, 2 yellow, 1 green on 4s, and then he will move in if Ralof isn't dead after this. So that is a crit. He can't defend against that much. At best he could, as long as this. Oh wait, there's not a 2-pip with a helmet, so no. At best he can defend against 3, which would let him live. He needs that symbol. He needs this mix. Oh, there's a chance. Hang on, because that helmet lets him roll 1 more yellow die. He now needs this to be a 2. You were this close to being a hero. He blocks 1, takes 3. He goes down again, and actually I'm not even sure if you are allowed to go down again if you've already been incapacitated once. But there's not going to be anyone to save him this time. So, well, I'll put him down on 1 knee because one of the other spiders will have to spit at him. And oh yeah, it's impossible for them to miss, so we can just do this on camera. So he would engage with him. Then it would be an actual adversary activation. Closest spider would go 9 inches, which is roughly here. Oh no, but if they've engaged, he couldn't spit at him. Well, again, you're supposed to do what's worst, so he did not engage. And spit, you just roll the die. Even if it's a crit fail, it still counts as a hit when someone is incapacitated and like crouched on the ground, you know, like in the video game. So it doesn't really matter, you're just rolling to see if you get any benefits. Oh, he crit failed. I'm very certain that a crit fail even is still a success on an incapacitated target. I'm going to double check. Well, I'm glad I double checked because this game has a lot of little rules that don't come up very often. I forgot that if you want to be incapacitated, which you do because the alternative is death, you actually have to pass an endurance test. So I should have done that the first time Ralof took fatal damage. Also, if ever the damage you've received is greater than double your remaining health, and he had 3 health there, so that doesn't apply. But still, either way, he would still have taken an endurance test, and on this one, had the damage been equal to or greater than double his remaining health, you suffer a -2 to the result of it. But it's just a normal endurance test. This time we will do it to see if he gets incapacitated or if he just dies. His endurance stat is a 4. Been doing well on the rolls for the 4s. Never mind. So he doesn't get incapacitated, he just goes down. As I say, he wasn't going to get saved there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that's how you're supposed to do that. So there's just a chance you get incapacitated. It happens so rarely, but they really have just had appallingly bad luck. So I do still have one last chance to get a minor victory condition. That soldier's going to get one more chance to swing at the big spider. So this soldier is trying to be a hero. I guess if you were using all the normal game rules, his morale would be broken and he'd be running away. But there's no escape. The front of the cave is filled with spiders. So he's just going to swing, and he's using a power strike again. That's why I haven't altered his stamina. And he's just going to try and kill that big spider to at least do something. Why do you suck? Why are you terrible at landing a hit? He wouldn't have been able to defend against that much damage. Let's test, actually. His defense is 2 yellow dice. Yeah, that would have killed the spider outright. That was 2. Sorry, another one wasn't in view there. He whiffed completely. That would have insta-killed the spider. Why do you suck? Well, he's dead. The last spider can't spit at him, and 9 inches would not be enough to get into combat with him. So technically it would go another round. Like 9 inches is like roughly there. But as soon as he activates, every other spider activates. Oh, you know what that means? That means he has one more chance to kill him because I get first activation. So let's do it again. Let's pretend we're into round 4 because, as I say, he's immediately dying right afterwards, basically. So did he at least take the big spider out on the way out? Let's see, he whiffed. Does the cross swords do anything? It's not as bad as the crit fail, but it's still pretty bad. That gives him follow-up. There's one. Robin gets another shot. Robin Land a shot. He got a crit. He's going out with a bang. He's also allowed to heal 1 off of that. That might matter. Off with the crit. Yeah, you've got him. Does the helmet do anything? Add a green. That doesn't matter, but whatever. Sure, I knocked it to a crit fail, but it was not a crit fail. It was a great success. The spider can't defend against 7 damage. He did block 2. Does the helmet do anything? Nope. So he blocked 2 and still managed to take 6. The big spider fell. Oh, but actually he's a master, so I think they get an incapacitation test as well. I'll need to double check that. So it is a little odd, and it's just one of the many problems with the rulebook for this game. One, he's a master, not an elite. I meant, it's weird that elite is below master, but whatever. For the elite, it specifies that they do not take endurance tests when their health is reduced to 0, they're just removed. That implies that masters do take an endurance test when their health is reduced to 0, but the description of an adversary master does not say that. A master is a powerful adversary that often rules over lesser creatures in their dominion. Adversaries treat any friendly master from the same faction as a party champion. This is used when taking morale checks. When a master adversary is removed as a casualty by a hero in melee, that hero draws a treasure card at once. If the master is destroyed at range, the treasure card is lost in the confusion of battle. Neither of those apply because that was just a bog standard follower. That was not a hero, so no treasure card would have been drawn. But it doesn't say anything about one way or the other a master having to do a endurance test. I'm going to just check to see if it actually was like a true ultimate victory. Let's cover every base. Their endurance 4. He would have failed the endurance test anyway. So, but if it's written somewhere else that masters do have to take endurance tests, or you know, it becomes incapacitated as opposed to being removed as a casualty, let me know which page it's on. In the old rulebook, I don't have the slightly cleaned up version that's still a mess. But that does mean the big spider did indeed die, so a minor victory there. But this poor soldier is now just getting ganked because these haven't actually activated. They're from the turn previous. He's activated. He has another action, so he can absolutely move next to the trapped civilian, like there-ish, but that's not going to save him because they can all just take pot shots at him. So they're definitely still within 6. Which means he'll activate. Yep, and then he gets an actual activation. Can one lone soldier protect against 3 spits? Which is green, 2 yellow. I don't think so, but we're going to see. Because why not? And it's on 4s each time. So here comes the pain train. Starting with top spider. That is a... Is that a 4? That is a 4 on the dot, but he blanked out damage. You're lucky. Second spider. That's a 10 that comes down to an 8. Hang on a second. So this spider would do a normal activation. Moves up. Then also spits. That's an 8 that comes down to a 7. Hang on a second. He also missed. That would be the end of turn 4. And I did say it was 5 turns, right? He's going to die a hero. That's what's going to happen. I need a hero blaring in his eardrums. He heals 1 stamina. He moves adjacent. I want to be on this side ideally, so he's not within 6 of every spider. And then he just needs to pass a strength test to free the civilian. These bog standard soldiers have a strength of 4, because that's what their attack is tied to. And he freed the civilian. Now, getting out alive was kind of optional. The big spider died and they freed the civilian that was trapped in a cocoon there. They just are considered to have run out. So yeah, he's probably dead because he's not going to kill 3 spiders by himself. But that's the win condition, so technically the game ends there. That's actually a major victory, and he needs to be promoted immediately. Do you want to know the most ironic thing? I hate this pose. This is the pose I hate the most out of the 3. The other 2 I think are in pretty cool poses with their great swords, but this guy, it's just kind of, he looks a bit too lanky, as in like tall, and the swing looks like he's going for an overhead slash, but it also looks like he's trying to do like sideways, which doesn't make any sense. Doesn't matter though, he's a hero. He is a hero. He succeeded where his team was pathetic. So many, well, the defense rolls for the spiders being good was not their fault, but crucial rolls became crit fails a couple of times, certainly with Rayloff. Did Rayloff land a hit? Like, I honestly thought, oh, they're going to be killing like 2 spiders per turn. This is going to be too easy, especially because the big spider only has 3 health. I was thinking to myself, it's going to be, this is too easy, but whatever, we'll play it anyway. As it turns out, not so much. It never works out that way. Rayloff just could not land a hit on a 4 with a chance to get a green die if he rolls a helmet, and those glass arrows adding in red. I thought he'd be doing insane damage. I thought he'd be doing a guaranteed kill every turn, essentially. Especially if he used up his stamina to get another green die. But he just couldn't hit anything. So, I actually kind of like how it just panned out in the end. We have someone who is now a general in the Stormcloak army. He is taking Rayloff's place because Rayloff got eaten by spiders along with the rest of his team. But that man is a hero, and that is going to conclude this little self-contained story from Skyrim, Tamriel, wherever you want. And I sincerely hope you enjoyed. If you want me to talk or hear me talk about how I painted up the giant spider, it'll be in the next Getting Stuff Painted. Either way, this is my preferred way of bringing Call to Arms to the channel, which is kind of being a little bit more loose with the delve mode rules so that I can do these kind of thematically story themed missions, as opposed to worrying about 2 opposing forces, adversaries in the middle, huge games. I like these self-contained little stories so far, and it's a nice barometer for plans going forwards, let's say. Either way, please do remember to show your support if you are a fan of Call to Arms. As I mentioned at the top of the video, these do appear first for channel members about a week in advance, along with other video series, to say thank you for the extra support you are willing and able to spare. You can also check out the channel sponsor via my affiliate link. If you do that, I get compensated if you buy anything. They do carry Modiphius products. I bought Fallout from them. I bought Fallout and Call to Arms from them, and they have good prices on them. So go check them out. Thank you for watching either way, and I shall see you at some point in the future for more Call to Arms. Ta-ta for now.